Good afternoon, everybody. This is Boomersdaddy with Spreadsheet Sports, coming to you with a Week 5 lineup review. Just want to go over a couple things here where I feel like I went wrong and obviously where I went right. It is obviously hindsight is 2020, but obviously one of the big things and big tools that we have to our advantage is to be able to look at lineups and kind of reverse engineer them and see where we went right and where we could have been better. So you can see that obviously I ate a lot of chalk with this lineup, which is something I wanted to do. This was my cash game lineup. It, I believe, had a 75-76 winning percentage as far as my head-to-heads, and did not cash in any of the tournaments. It was about 5 points below the cut line in some of the tournaments I was playing. So that's usually what my cash game lineups do. They usually compete in head-to-heads, and I'm lucky if they compete in tournaments. I just feel like I'm a pretty good cash game player as far as getting to a certain threshold. I usually project about 130 points. If I can score 130 points, I'm gonna come out ahead of the rake more times than not and be a profitable cash game player, which is obviously, like I've preached time and time again, that should be your bread and butter. That should be what pays the bills, and then the GPPs are what takes you and your family on vacation. So that's kind of how I view it. But to go over this, obviously Tom Brady going against my Dallas Cowboys, I didn't see any way Brady at 8,800 could not be the top quarterback play of the day. He wasn't, but he was definitely competing. Le'Veon Bell, obviously with Mike Vick under center, then with Le'Veon Bell, you had to eat it. $9,000. I'd pay $10,000 with the kind of work that he gets, but that was pretty self-explanatory for me, and I wrote him up in my write-up. Justin Forsett going against Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL so far this year. Justin Forsett had that big breakout game last week. That's what I wanted to see, to be able to put him in my lineups again. I faded him in GPPs, which wasn't a bad move, as you'll see here in a second, but it wasn't a great move. So overall, I really liked Forsett. And he could have had two or three more touchdowns, but kind of got vultured a little bit. I've made the reference to and I can't take credit for this because I saw it on Twitter on Sunday, but I made the reference to the running back from the Varsity Blues. It seemed like he'd do all the work and get down there, and then they'd give somebody else the ball to score the touchdown. So Julian Edelman, obviously paired up with Tom Brady. You can't go wrong there. Julian Edelman has actually been targeted more in the red zone this year than Rob Gronkowski. So I knew that was a good play there. And Emmanuel Sanders, I could have saved some money here. I thought that Sanders was in a good spot. Peyton, his ADOT is, I think, under 5 yards. Which doesn't bother me when it comes to receivers because Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, they do a lot of their damage after the catch anyways. So I wasn't too worried about that. I could have saved some money there and upgraded a little bit at tight end, and it could have helped me out tremendously there as well. It was not a bad play, but obviously not the worst. Willie Snead going against Philadelphia. I didn't expect this game to be 39-17. I expected it to be a little bit closer, and to be honest, it wasn't even that close. New Orleans scored final seconds going in the end zone to make it 39-17. It was 39-10 there for a long time. So I really did like Willie Snead. He's become one of Drew Brees' favorite targets, and he's just eating up targets this year so far, and his usage and his snap count has actually increased each week so far this year. So Owen Daniels, we've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. Target tight ends versus Oakland. I think he had like 5 or 6 targets. He just couldn't haul any of them in. Hindsight, I fell in love with the tight end versus Oakland narrative, and I should have put Tyler Eifert in there, Gary Barnidge. I could have put a couple of other tight ends in there, and really had a great day. Matt Bryant, obviously, Atlanta was one of the higher totals of the week. He's in a dome, which is a controlled environment. That's what I look for. High total, warm weather, controlled environment, something like that. That way, no outside elements can actually affect my kicker. And he actually, I believe, missed 1 or 2 field goals, so it could have been bigger here too. It was one of those things that kickers are a dime a dozen. I've got a very loose theory on them, and my personal opinion is kickers should not be in DFS. Who was it? The Chargers kicker actually decided a qualifier for one of my buddies this last weekend, and I felt for him because I've had that happen to me too. It happened to me last year. It happened to me earlier in the year, and that's never the pitcher win total, and a kicker should never decide who goes to a live final. I'm a firm believer in that, and that's one of the downfalls to DraftKings, or to FanDuel. I'm sorry. And then my last bit in there was the New York Giants. They had a high favorite. They're at home. They're playing an offense that had scored 10 points in the last 2 weeks, and it was I could have gone with the Falcons for $200 more. I could have gone up to the Bengals for, I think, $100 more, and they were both in good spots as well. Could have gone with the Packers. So there were a couple defenses that could have gotten something to push me up there. So I was happy with everything until it got to the tight end, and then it kind of downfalled for me. So okay, this right here is this is the winning ticket the winning lineup for the Sunday Million on FanDuel last weekend. I'm going to kind of go compare side by side where I was right and where I was wrong, and something I could have changed, and then where I feel I should have stood pat. So Andy Dalton going against Seattle. The way he's been playing, the way Seattle plays on the road, it was a very, very easy, no-brainer GPP play for me. I wouldn't dare do that in cash games, but in GPPs, when there's really, really drastic home road splits like that, I tend to target towards the positive of the offense if I can. So I liked his play at Eli Manning. Obviously, he barely outscored me there. So I would say that because I have a low ownership percentage, we're pretty much even there. Then we both ate chalk with Le'Veon Bell and Devonta Freeman. I felt like Le'Veon was just a guarantee for 20 to 25 points. That was his floor, and then I needed 30, which he had the ability to actually do. I needed 30 for him to go off and for me to start competing. Devonta Freeman, if you read my write-up and my recap from Week 5, then you'll notice I have been off Devonta Freeman. I felt like it was chasing points. I felt like it was not sustainable, and it's not, but that doesn't mean that he's not a good running back. I said it in my write-up. I was wrong. So I will start having Devonta Freeman exposure. Don't expect 30 points every single week, but I think his floor is a nice 18 points with the amount of work that he's getting. So, and then Dion Lewis. I was really kind of shocked and surprised that he was 13% owned. The reason I was shocked and surprised about that was because I felt like after LeGarrette Blount got 3 touchdowns that they were going to be kind of split. And it was that one shocked me. I wasn't disappointed with the 12 or with the 19.3 points, but I was a little disappointed with the 13.4 ownership percentage. I felt I read that wrong. Doug Martin. I felt like Jacksonville's defense was a lot better than what it played on Sunday. I was totally and completely off Doug Martin. I did not have any shares of him, which is why I didn't cash in a lot of tournaments. So that was not a good play for me. I overlooked that somehow, and I just got to get better. AJ Green, you could have done that. I liked that pairing because I felt he was going to be low owned. Tyler Eifert was the play here. It was one of those that you could have taken the correlation between quarterback and wide receiver or quarterback and tight end, and I chose wide receiver just because it has more of a positive correlation. But with the Cincinnati Bengals, we've got to know that Tyler Eifert is going to be in play each and every single week because he is looking for him consistently. So Larry Fitzgerald going against Detroit. I felt Detroit was going to put up some points. I didn't think it was going to be a 42-17 blowout. It really honestly wasn't that close. Matt Stafford obviously got benched, and that was not fun. So James Jones, 12.3% owned. I figured that in tournaments he was going to be the higher owned over Randall Cobb just because of Cobb's injuries. He hasn't been playing well. He went with Julian Edelman. You could see that he only had 3 players counting his kicker under 10% owned, his quarterback and his running back. And Odell Beckham, obviously you're going to pair him with Eli Manning every single time. That was a great duo on Monday night. Julian Edelman, we obviously talked about him. Antonio Gates, I was not on that. I felt like coming out, not that he wasn't going to have a good game, just that he wasn't going to have that type of game. I felt they were still going to get Keenan Allen the ball, which they tried to. Keenan Allen should have had a bigger game. And I felt like Ladarius Green was actually going to help take the top off that defense as well. So Atlanta going against Washington, I was sweating this a little bit because until the pick six in overtime, Atlanta was sitting at 6 points. And really, honestly, you need your defense to kind of put up at least 12 to 15 to have a decent shot. Denver's defense on the road, it's not that I didn't like them. I had shares of them, but I felt like they were going to be high owned, and they were. I like Atlanta's defense. I like what Dan Quinn's been doing, and they've been really performing well and creating turnovers. So I really like that spot. Somehow Washington scored 19 points, and I'm still not quite sure how. They did not look good in that game. So I think the defense kind of hurt themselves a little bit, and this had the potential to actually be a lot better. So Jason Witten, I felt with Brandon Whedon in there going against New England, they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. He was going to check down a lot. Unfortunately, Brandon Whedon was not on target, and so that was not a good play. Could have saved $200 and got 8 times the production. that I did off of Jason Witten. So those, if I sub out Jason Witten and just get a different kicker in there, then I've got a much, much, much better week. So was in the top 1,000 when Andy Dalton and AJ Green were in the first quarter, and then I just kind of kept slipping away from there. So overall, I like the lineup. There's a couple spots I should have pivoted from. I had too much faith in Brandon Whedon, and really Jason Witten should be regulated more towards the cash game play, just because he doesn't really bring that 2-touchdown upside anymore. Yeah, there's going to be 1 or 2 games where he does have those 2 touchdowns, but he does not have that on a consistent week in and week out basis anymore. So congratulations to Joshua 9028. Don't know who you are. If you are a listener of us or subscribe to us, then congratulations. You are a new millionaire, and hopefully this is to us becoming millionaires next weekend. For Spreadsheet Sports, I am Boomersdaddy. Guys, have a great day.